There was an elderly man who once said, "I don't fear old age, I fear losing control of my day." And I asked him, "When does your day slip away?" He smiled and replied, "In the morning, before I even realize it." My dear friends, the morning is not just the beginning of the day, it is the steering wheel of your life. Especially after 70, your mornings don't just shape your mood, they shape your health, your energy, your relationships, and even your peace of mind. Today, let us reflect on four dangerous morning mistakes many people unknowingly make, and more importantly, how we can gently correct them. There is a silent danger that doesn't make noise, doesn't hurt immediately, and doesn't look serious from the outside, but slowly it drains the life out of a person. And that danger is waking up without purpose. After the age of 70, many people unknowingly slip into a routine where mornings feel empty. There's no office to rush to, no deadlines waiting, no children depending on them in the same way. So they wake up and just lie there. Not because they are tired, but because they don't feel needed. Let me share a simple but powerful story. There was an elderly teacher who had retired after 40 years of service. For the first few months, he enjoyed the rest. But slowly, something began to change. He started waking up later. He stopped shaving regularly. He would sit quietly for hours, staring at nothing in particular. One day, his former student came to visit him and said, "Sir, you taught us how to live with discipline. What happened to you?" The teacher smiled faintly and said, "When nobody expects anything from you, you stop expecting anything from yourself." That sentence carries deep truth. Purpose is not something given by society, it is something we must create for ourselves, especially in later years. Without purpose, time feels heavy, days feel long, and life slowly begins to feel like something to pass rather than something to live. You see, the body does not retire, the mind does not retire, but sometimes our sense of meaning retires too early. So, how do we change this? Start very small. Purpose doesn't have to be something grand like changing the world. At this stage of life, purpose can be deeply simple and personal. Wake up and ask, what is one meaningful thing I can do today? Maybe it is teaching a grandchild something valuable, calling an old friend who might be lonely, watering plants and nurturing life. Reading something that feeds your soul, offering a small act of kindness, even a tiny purpose gives your mind direction. Think of life like a train. If it has no destination, it keeps moving, but it goes nowhere. Purpose is that destination. It gives movement meaning. And here is the beautiful part: when you wake up with purpose, your energy changes, your posture changes, your voice changes. Even your health begins to respond. Because the mind whispers to the body, we still have a reason to live today. And when that whisper becomes strong, life begins again, even at 70, 80, or beyond. Our body is like a lifelong companion. It walks with us through childhood, youth, struggles, success, and old age. But somewhere along the journey, especially after 70, many people begin to unintentionally neglect this companion. Mornings become slow, stiff, and inactive. Instead of gently waking the body, they remain seated or lying down for long periods. Movement becomes something they avoid rather than embrace. But here's a simple truth: the body weakens faster when it is ignored than when it is used. Let me tell you about an elderly man named Ahmed. Ahmed was once very active. He loved walking in the park every morning. But one winter, he fell slightly ill and stopped his routine. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. When someone asked him why he no longer walked, he said, "My legs don't feel strong anymore." But the reality was this: his legs didn't become weak first, his habit disappeared first. And when habits disappear, the body slowly follows. This is the trap many fall into. They believe, "I will move when I feel better." But the truth is often the opposite. You feel better when you move. Now, this doesn't mean pushing yourself harshly or ignoring pain. At this age, wisdom is more important than intensity. The goal is not strength like youth. The goal is mobility, independence, and dignity. So, how can this be practiced? Start your morning by gently waking up your body. Before even getting out of bed, move your fingers and toes, stretch your arms, slowly rotate your ankles once you stand up. Walk a few steps even inside your home. Do light stretching. Take deep breaths and expand your lungs. Even 5 to 10 minutes can make a difference. Think of it like oiling a door hinge. If you don't move it, it becomes stiff. But if you gently keep it in motion, it continues to function smoothly. Movement is not punishment. It is a form of gratitude towards your body. And here's something beautiful too. Remember, every step you take in the morning is not just exercise, it is a declaration. I choose to stay independent. I choose to stay alive. Because the ability to move freely is not just physical strength, it is freedom itself. The most powerful thing you carry into your morning is not your body, it is your first thought. And for many people over 70, mornings begin not with hope but with heaviness. Thoughts like, my best years are gone, nobody really needs me anymore, life has become difficult. These thoughts may feel natural. They may even feel justified. But what many don't realize is this: your mind believes what you repeat. Let me share a small story. There were two elderly friends who lived in the same neighborhood. Both had similar health issues, similar family situations, and similar routines. But every morning, one of them would say, another day, let's see what goes wrong today. The other would say, another day, let's see what I can be grateful for. Years passed, and something interesting happened. The first man became more bitter, more withdrawn, and more unhappy. The second man, despite facing the same challenges, remained calm, warm, and content. What was the difference? Not their circumstances, but their morning mindset. Your first thought is like the steering wheel of your day. If it turns toward negativity, everything follows that direction. But if it turns toward gratitude or acceptance, the day feels lighter. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It simply means choosing a healthier starting point. So, what can you do? Create a small morning ritual of positive thinking. As soon as you wake up, gently tell yourself, I am grateful for another day. I still have something to give. I will handle today with patience. These are not just words, they are instructions to your mind. And over time, your mind begins to obey. Think of your thoughts like seeds. If you plant seeds of worry, regret, and negativity, your day grows into stress. But if you plant seeds of gratitude and calmness, your day grows into peace. And here is the real power: you cannot control everything in life, but you can always choose your first thought of the day. And that one choice can quietly transform everything. One of the deepest emotional struggles in old age is this silent expectation: someone should be there for me. A call from a son, a visit from a daughter, a conversation with family. And when these expectations are not met, the heart feels heavy, sometimes even neglected. Now, these feelings are completely human. Wanting connection is natural, wanting love is natural. But the danger lies here. When your happiness depends entirely on others, your peace becomes unstable. Let me share a touching story. There was an elderly mother who would sit near the window every morning waiting for her son to call. Some days he called, many days he didn't. On the days he didn't call, her entire mood would collapse. She would not eat properly, would not talk to anyone, and would feel deeply hurt. One day, a neighbor gently asked her, why does your entire day depend on one phone call? The mother replied, because that is the only thing I wait for. And that is where the problem was. When life becomes something we wait through rather than live through, we unknowingly give away our control. The truth is not that people don't care. The truth is, everyone is caught in their own struggles, responsibilities, and routines. If we tie our happiness only to their actions, we will often feel disappointed. So, what is the solution? It is not to stop loving others. It is not to become emotionally distant. It is to build a life where your happiness has multiple sources. Start creating small pockets of joy within your own day. Develop a simple hobby like reading, gardening, or writing. Spend time in prayer, reflection, or silence. Listen to something uplifting. Engage in small acts of kindness. When you begin to enjoy your own company, something powerful happens, loneliness reduces, and self respect increases. And here's the irony: when you stop depending completely on others, your relationships actually improve. Because now you meet people with fullness, not emptiness. Remember this gently: love others deeply, but don't make them the only source of your happiness. Because true peace comes when you can sit with yourself and still feel complete. My dear friends, aging is not the problem. Losing awareness is the problem. Your morning is a sacred space. It is not just about waking up, it is about waking within. So, tomorrow morning, don't just open your eyes. Wake up with purpose, move your body with care, guide your thoughts with positivity, and protect your happiness from dependency because life after 70 is not about counting years. It is about making each day meaningful, peaceful, and deeply alive. And remember, you don't need more time to live better, you just need to use your mornings more wisely. Thank you.